Vitro, we got bulletproof glass now. Bitch, I turned up, I feel like I want a Grammy. I'm speaking Guapanese, I know he cannot understand me.
Hey yo, it's your boy Atomic coming at you with another Bullet Echo video, and today we're going to be talking about how you can be countering the best player in the entire game. If you guys watched my hero tier list video, Bastion comes in at the S tier, and in my opinion, if there is an S++ tier, that is where I would be placing Bastion without a doubt in my mind. I know a lot of you guys are probably frustrated with going against Bastion in these games because he definitely seems unbeatable, and quite frankly in certain situations he really is unbeatable, but there are things that you can do in this game to mitigate those advantages that Bastion brings to the playing field by playing around him. So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. In the comment section down below, let me know what other ideas you guys want to see from these videos, these Bullet Echo videos on the channel. I want to keep on pumping them out. I'm glad to see that there are so many other people in the world enjoying this game as much as I am. But without further ado, let's hop right into this video. First of all, in order to understand how to counter Bastion, we've got to take a look at his abilities and his statistics so you guys know exactly what you are going up against. So here I have a fully maxed out Bastion. Of course I had to max out the best hero in the game, level 15 abilities across the board. I've got some really good gears on him as well. But to start off with, if you guys are new to the game, let's just cover Bastion overall. He is a machine gun hero. He's got 100 bullets per round in his weapon, and in general in this game we are in a very tanky meta. Tanks thrive, and he is the best tank in the game on top of that. So we've got him at a power level of 1506. He's got 1,437 health and 2,694 armor. Finding armor for Bastion is insane. Once you put that armor on, when it comes down to 50-50s, you definitely do not lose. The damage on his LMG is actually really good as well. 94 damage for a gun that shoots pretty fast and has 100 rounds per clip. Just based on his statistics alone, this guy right here is easily an A-class hero. But let's talk about his abilities. The abilities is what makes Bastion so broken. First of all, we've got his shield right here. You pop the shield, the hero creates a mobile shield. This shield has a durability of 20 and stops damage from most weapons for 7 whole seconds. If you guys play Bullet Echo, you know that in this game you can die in under a second depending on which heroes you're using, and even if you are playing as a tank, sometimes you can die as quick as like 1 to 2 seconds. So to be able to block damage from enemies for 7 whole seconds is ridiculous. On top of that, it is a mobile shield, so unlike other heroes in the game like Satoshi, who puts shields on the floor or blot where you sort of hide behind the shield, whenever Bastion pops his shield, he can spin around and move the shield with him. So whatever direction he's looking at, that is the direction that he's going to be blocking all this damage from. So in a head-to-head, you're not beating Bastion straight up. You got to use a little bit more finesse. Going into his second ability right here, the battle kit, I think the best healing ability. I mean, it's not even about what I think. It is the best healing ability in the game. The battle kit on ability activation, the hero is slowed down by 90% for 5 seconds. The hero loses the ability to shoot for 5 seconds, and after those seconds are up, it restores 950 health and armor. There's a lot of heroes in this game that don't even have a combination of almost 2,000 health and armor, and you get to restore it with one click of a button using that ability. Nuts. On top of that, since I've got it at level 15, after popping the ability, you also get an additional 400 maximum health and armor, meaning going back to his statistics, even if I have max health and max armor, what most Bastions will do at the very end of the game, they'll pop their ability, and what that allows is for 400 health and armor on top of that. So I'll be running around with 1,800 health and 3,000 armor, just making him a very tough target to deal with. I mean, those two abilities and his stats combined already put him in S tier, but we still have 2 more abilities to cover. We've got the armor for his passives. He gets plus 20% to heroes maximum armor, plus 20% to heroes maximum health, and plus 20% to heroes primary weapon damage. As if that's not enough, on the hero taking damage, he gets plus 25 to the hero's armor, and he has another passive of plus 23 armor per second to the hero, which means that in a lot of these games, sometimes you won't be able to find armor in the game early, mid, or even after you get into a mid-game fight, you can't get any more armor before the late game. as Bastion, you can sort of just sit there and vibe and let the armor come to you and max yourself out. And even when you get into a fight, even if someone does damage to you, not only are you gaining bonus armor, you're also getting that passive and continuously stacking armor. So going up against someone, you might see the stats as 2600 armor, but really sometimes when these fights take longer, especially going up against a Bastion, it can feel like he's got 4000 plus armor in the middle of a fight. And then finally we've got his defender. On the hero taking damage, he gets plus 55 armor per second to allies within a range of 400 for 1 second, and he does minus 20% to incoming damage for allies within a range of 400 for 1 second. So even when taking damage on top of all of his other crazy abilities, he gets even more armor fed to him, and he takes less damage. So as you guys can see, his overall stats are actually ridiculous, and if anybody is smart in this game, you want to try your best, if you have the ability to run the same gear set, right? So for him, it's going to be the heavy Borg set. So I've got the heavy heart port, or the heart heavy port, which gives him plus 2 to the primary weapon armor penetration and minus 5% to pickup time for upgrades. I've got the heart heavy, I've got the eye heavy port, plus 30 to the hero's vision range and minus 5% to the hero's running loudness. I've got the arm heavy port, minus 8% to the primary weapon bullet spread without aiming, minus 10% to the ammo pickup time for a primary weapon, and finally the leg heavy port, minus 10 to the hero's primary weapon spread and minus 8% to the weapon fire spread while moving, and making him a little bit more of a versatile hero, able to move around a little bit more on the map without missing as many shots. And then on top of that, when you run all 4 sets together, you get plus 2 to the primary weapon piercing power and plus 3% to the hero's maximum armor, stacking him up even more. Now, seeing all of that, you're probably thinking to yourself, there is no chance in the world that this hero is actually counterable, but there are a few things that you can do in this game to counter Bastion. First of all, one of Bastion's biggest weaknesses in the game is the fact that he is a super slow hero. So he cannot move around the map very quickly. His LMG honestly doesn't have that much range compared to some of the other guns in the game. So you want to use that to your advantage. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. One thing that you don't want to do is 50-50 a Bastion without any cover in the open, without being able to go somewhere in case you need to, because once you do that, you lose, right? He's got the shield, he's gonna pop the shield, there's nothing you can do to actually beat him in that engagement, which brings me to the third thing that you do not want to do is 50-50 him, or I'm sorry, you don't want to wait till the very end of the game if you know there's a Bastion in the game, because doing that pretty much forces you to 50-50 him. There's nothing else you can do. There's a storm. It's either you sit in the storm and you die to it, or you take all this damage in from the Bastion in a head-to-head, and you're gonna lose because he's got that shield, right? So now about the things that you can do. There are certain hero types that are really good against Bastion. The one that is the absolute worst is Shotgun. We already talked about it in my hero tier list video. The Shotgun is not viable in this game. It is not viable in the meta, so do not use Shotgun heroes. You cannot counter a Bastion with a Shotgun hero, period. Even one of the stronger Shotgun players in the game, the Sparkle, I think she has one of the strongest shotguns, is not able to take down Bastion with 2 shotgun shots and having to reload. There's nothing you can do about that. And then on top of that, she doesn't have that much health and armor to even defend herself. I would say the best shotgun hero to challenge him with is Hurricane, just because he has a shield as well and a semi-auto shotty. Still, don't use Bastion. What you do want to do is use sniper heroes, and more specifically, I would suggest semi-auto sniper heroes. I think the #1 counter for Bastion in the game at the moment is a Firefly, and the main reason why I think Firefly, at least for the sniper class, is one of the best heroes to counter Bastion with is you've got ridiculous range, but it's not just regular sniper range. You've got the semi-auto. His gun does so much damage, doing 456 damage per shot, and you're able to stay out of Bastion's LMG range for a long time. So to counter Bastion, even if you're not using any of these sniper heroes or any of these other specific heroes to counter him, you want to fight him in the early to mid game because he is a slower hero, right? So if you're at max distance from Bastion with the Firefly and you just sit there and pop away, you're chilling. On top of that, you also have the grenade ability, which allows you to throw the grenade and do a lot of damage to him, especially when you get this grenade ability maxed out. It reloads in 1 second and you get 5 maximum charges, so you can just sit there and chuck grenades at the Bastion, what Bastions usually do is as soon as they feel that they are taking damage from someone, they'll pop the armor or they'll pop the shield blocker immediately. So you'll start shooting at them, they'll pop the shield blocker, so then you want to start chucking grenades because he can block bullets, cannot block the grenade entirely. So by doing that, you're doing damage to him, and now he's starting to fear a little bit, right? Because he's like, okay, first of all, I just got hit from outside of my radius, I can't even fire back. I threw my shield up to try to chase the target down, I can't close the distance fast enough, and now I've taken a bunch of damage to grenades. Once the shield goes down, he's just sitting there, easy pickings, he's a big target, very easy to land shots. Even if you are moving with a Firefly, the entire radius of your gun still lands perfectly on the Bastion, making Firefly one of the best heroes to counter him with. Even if he somewhat does get near you, you have the Sting ability, which allows you to shoot quicker whenever enemies do damage to you, which is amazing. And it's just like overall, Firefly is a really good hero. Another good semi-auto hero, I would say not as good as Firefly because Firefly does have the grenade, but Mirage, she has no movement error with her firing spread. So being able to use Mirage, you sit there, same thing. You sit there at the distance, but what is nice about her, even though she doesn't have the grenade, what she does have is the breakaway. This ability right here, the hero jumps back to a distance of 400, giving her plus 30% to the hero's movement speed and plus 60 to the primary weapon firing range. So if you get caught lacking with a Firefly, because it does happen, you round the corner and it's you and Bastion looking at each other in the face, you're probably out of luck. But with her, you can use the breakaway to create more distance, increase the range to your weapon, and start hammering away at the Bastion. On top of semi-auto sniper heroes, if you don't like to play as those, what I do suggest is using the smaller, quicker heroes in the game. I already said the shotgun doesn't counter it too well. The SMG itself does run out of ammo, but these smaller heroes are very, very fast. Sometimes these Bastions, like what I noticed when I was trying to push with Bastion, if I run into these smaller heroes early in the game, I have a tough time chasing them down, even if I do a lot of damage to them early on. So the three small heroes that I'm looking at here that are going to be really good for you, number one, Ghost. First of all, Ghost is S tier, one of the best heroes in the game, hands down. He's got the invisibility invisibility ability. That is a mouthful. So you pop the invis. If you guys don't know what this does, he becomes invisible for 7 seconds. He gets plus 15% to movement speed while invisible, plus 30% to primary weapon damage upon exiting invisibility for 1 second. This right here is very good, so you can use it in one of two ways. Usually in the game, it depends on what hero I'm going up against, but I like to pop my invis to start the fight. Going up against Bastion though, sometimes what's really good is fighting him early, right, with the SMG. As soon as he realizes this, it's going to take him a second to pop his armor to make sure he doesn't die, or to pop his portable shield, and then you'll pop the invis and you'll back out of his distance. He has no idea where you went. The invis lasts as long as his portable shield lasts. Wait for that to go down. Once it goes down, you'll pop out of your invis, and you want to show up on the side that's behind him and just deal a lot of damage. On top of that, being really quick with these smaller heroes, they have the stim ability. The hero loses the ability to shoot for 0.5 seconds, plus 30% to the hero's movement speed for 6 seconds, and restores 40 health per second to the hero. So you want to use this if you are starting to take a lot of damage, but even if you're not taking damage, it allows you to speed away and get away from the Bastion. And you sort of just want to, if you guys follow boxing, you know anything about boxing, you want to keep him, or you want to stay on the outside and just jab away at him, right? You want to come through, hit him with a few shots. As soon as he spins around to either try to pop his shield or you're in his range, you back off again. You just keep running circles around the Bastion and just tacking away. They can also use these smaller areas in the map, so if you're playing these smaller heroes, you want to use those small cracks in the map, and if the Bastion pulls up, you do a lot of damage to him, you finesse through the crack, go back around, through the crack, back around, and you just keep running circles around him. The thing with that is though, once again, it takes us back to tip number one, where you don't want to wait till the very end of the game, because if you wait till the very end of the game, these smaller heroes don't stand a chance. I don't care what kind of invisibility you have or none of that. By the time you come down to a 50-50, you're going to be caught there reloading your little gun, Bastion's going to pull out his shield, and you're going to die. So some of these other smaller heroes that are very good as well, Freddy, he's got the same ability as, what does he call it? As Firefly with the grenade. You chuck the grenades to do a lot of damage to him with the shield. He's got the stim as well. He can move very quickly to get out of range. On top of that, he actually does have a decent amount of ammo in his gun, so you can actually kill the Bastion in an entire clip with Freddy, as where you can't really do that with Ghost. You gotta back away and come back for round two. Freddy, you can do it all in one go, so you want to initiate the fight, and as soon as Bastion pops the shield, you pop the stim if you need to get out. And if you might not even need to pop the stim, but if you do pop it, get out of his range, back up a little bit, and then as soon as the shield goes back away, come back to town just like that. Another hero that I would suggest is Raven, because of his scan ability, allows you to see where the Bastion is so you know exactly what direction he's facing. Start doing a lot of damage, same concept, pop the stim, get out of his range, come back through, right? So those are some of the biggest abilities, or those are the biggest tips when it comes to countering Bastion. These other sniper heroes are decent. Snipers in general are decent against him, just because they're, once again, far away and they deal a lot of damage. Slayer can actually two-shot Bastion a lot of these times with his amazing ability to being able to see through the wall, but I wouldn't say that he's as good as countering as these other heroes, because they have the ability not only to get away, but they can also do more with their guns. It's not just a bolt action sniper that shoots one every few shots and things like that. But either way, I hope those tips and tricks helped you out. Long range heroes are good as well, like Satoshi's AR. He's decent. He's got the force field as well, which is also decent. So using a shield is a good counter against another shield hero, but especially for Satoshi, since he does have a lot of damage with his assault rifle. Throw down the shield, you hide behind it, you get more primary weapon firing range, and you just deal a lot of damage by using his shield. It can just be weird sometimes, because at the end of the day, Satoshi's not as fast, so he can't get away, and his gun doesn't shoot as far as some of the other guns in the game. So it's like one of those mid-ground areas, but Satoshi is a pretty good counter to Bastion. Levi as well, she's a good one because she has the thermal vision, long range AR, and you just deal a lot of damage to the Bastion, because look at that damage, 436 damage per shot with the assault rifle. So she's a decent counter as well. But I still think that if you want to look at the best counters to the game, or to the Bastion, you want to run the Firefly, the Mirage for long range heroes. You can do the short range heroes that are very, very quick, dealing a lot of damage, or you can use the mid range hero. You just got to be careful, because you do have to kind of brawl a little bit more, and you're getting into Bastion's territory of being able to brawl very well. And if you don't execute the shield perfectly, if you don't have a wall to use your thermal behind, then the Bastion takes you out at the end of the day. Either way though, I hope those tips and tricks help you when it comes to countering the Bastion. There are some tips for Bastion himself to prevent those kind of counters from going down, and I guess I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about it. Just because, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, you can't hate the player, gotta hate the game. When using a Bastion, you know all your strengths, right? You know you've got the shield, you know you've got the battle kit. So when it comes to Bastion, you just don't put yourself in the open. You don't want to be standing anywhere in the open where you can't get to cover, where you can't force a close range engagement. I would say most, if not all maps in this game have those close range areas for you to work with as a Bastion. So you want to stay in those areas, close quarters, close corners, where those snipers can't get the long range on you, and even if there are SMG heroes, they can't really get away quickly. So if you back yourself into a corner and say, come to me, bro, you know what I'm saying, force them to come to you, you've got the shield, you can pop it, and you try your best to play the corners of the map. Wait and hope the circle gets small, because the longer the game goes on, the harder it is to counter a Bastion, and the better off you're going to be. You wait for that circle to get small, come out, you do the no skill, pop the shield, and say, what's up, bro? Either way though, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys go on and enjoy the rest of your day.